Tonight, as part of this launch event, we have the pleasure of honoring a teacher from the Ottawa area with the Arie van Mansum Award for Excellence in Holocaust Education. This award was launched as a tribute to the Righteous Gentile from the Netherlands who survived the war, then moved to Ottawa, where he lived for a number of years. During the Second World War, Arie van Mansum came to the aid of many Jews in the Netherlands. He provided them with food and refuge from the Nazis. Because of his involvement with the underground, Mr. van Mansum was caught and imprisoned in a concentration camp for 2 years. I'm pleased to announce that this year's Arie van Mansum Award recipient is Larry Henry. Larry is a grade 12 teacher at Thousand Islands Secondary School in Brockville. Let's have a big hand for him. Larry has demonstrated an ongoing commitment to teaching his students the lessons of the Holocaust and ensuring that these lessons are not forgotten. Larry approaches the teaching of the Holocaust through a wide lens. In his classroom, students discuss hate crimes, they learn about Holocaust deniers, and they discuss the use of the reasonable limits clause in the Canadian Charter of Rights. He makes sure that his students understand that the spread of hate can cause catastrophic damage to society. His focus on the Holocaust can also be found in his courses on international law, and there he discusses international rights, international criminal courts, the United Nations, and war crimes. We are very fortunate in this country to have teachers such as Larry. Clearly, he has had a profound influence on his students, and we'd like to thank him for his commitment to Holocaust education in Ottawa. As I mentioned, we're very fortunate tonight to have the daughters of Arie van Mansum here to present this year's award. They are Marg and Ria Euverman. I'd like to call up Marg, Ria, and Larry Henry to present and receive this year's award. If you please. You.
Good evening. It is a privilege for me to be here as the youngest daughter of Arie van Mansum, representing our family with my sister Ria. Both of our families are living here in Ottawa. My brother Jerry and his family live near Dallas, Texas, and my stepmother, Annette van Mansum, lives in a nursing home in Brampton. My father passed away May 6, 1999. He was a great example to us and our families, and we are very proud of him. He continued to help people in need throughout his life and modeled self-sacrifice to us and our children. My father was brought up in a Christian home where they always welcomed people and helped them with their needs. From a young age, he was taught that all people are created equally in God's image and that we are called to love them no matter their social status or race. Therefore, he could not turn his back on Jewish people who were being persecuted during the Second World War and the occupation of Holland. At the young age of 19 or 20, he became involved by coordinating hiding places for Jews, delivering food stamps and rations and providing false IDs. This took up so much of his time that he had to give up his paying job. He did not know any of these people before the war, yet he risked his life for them. His strong faith in God got him through an interrogation, solitary confinement, and imprisonment. Even though he hid hundreds of Jews, young and old, his only desire was that he could have saved more. His heroic story can be read in a book written by Janet Keith, A Friend Among Enemies, and I have a copy here. He provided signed copies for all of his grandchildren so that they could read his story when they were old enough to read. An interview from 1996 with my father can also be found on YouTube. In later years, when my father learned that there were those who would deny that the Holocaust even existed, he was invited by the Jewish community to speak at the schools and a number of events so that the truth of what he saw and had experienced during the war could be shared with the younger generations. He knew that the evil forces of racism could emerge in this generation and history could repeat itself. Larry Henry, it is an honor for Ria and me to present this award to you on behalf of my father, Arie van Mansum. Thank you for all you have done to teach the Holocaust to your students. I hope that you will continue to teach about the Holocaust to your students so that they too may know of the evil that occurred against the Jewish people.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I must admit how humbled I was to receive word of my nomination for the Arie van Mansum Award. I thank Ellie Bollegraf for nominating me and thought that was that. And then I received word that I received the award. Well, I'm both proud and appreciative for those who make that decision. I also understand the responsibility and burden that I bear. As the late and wonderful David Gentile told me and my students on his number of visits to my classes, it's now up to you to pass this message. You become the messengers as we, the survivors, grow fewer and fewer. Please help us. Please let the future know of this horrible time, and don't let others tell you that it didn't happen. It's Mr. van Mansum who actually saved many during the Holocaust, and now it's my burden, which I embrace, as I try my best to enlighten the youth who passed through my doors at Thousand Island Secondary School in Brockville. As time passes, I'm amazed at how horrified and appalled these teens are when they learn of the Holocaust. But I'm encouraged by their outrage of the atrocities. And I'm hopeful as I witness the reaction to speakers such as Ellie, the late Louis Lemko, and now the late David Gentile. I've become interested in the Holocaust as a young boy in the 70s, produced documentaries featuring grainy footage of camp liberations with the results of systematic hate. I remember always wondering why. I reluctantly came to understand how the Holocaust happened and its workings, how the Nazi regime worked this process of genocide, but I always had deep trouble with the word why. Why the hatred? I have trouble with hate. I really don't understand the word or concept. I don't know how people can feel that way or have lack of empathy. These are tough concepts for me to appreciate. I may be naive, but I hope we can ensure something like this terrible, terrible event never takes place again in any manner to any extreme. My message is what I want us to hear again. HEAR, it's an acronym I like to use. H for harmony. With our globe getting smaller and our borders graying, we must learn to cooperate and coexist. And E for empathy. The famous psychiatrist once said, evil is the absence of empathy. We should walk in other person's shoes. Let's eliminate evil. A for appreciate. We should understand and embrace what others have to offer, what everyone brings to the table. And finally, R for respect. If the other elements exist, then we should naturally respect one another for mutual existence and admiration. As David Gentile often told his audiences, the burden is now passed on. So is my turn, and soon my students' turn, and then again, my children's turn. Never again. Thank you.